Look, I realize we're all feeling very low right now, but there's one bit of good news. The doctor's on the way this Sunday. This is the ArsenalVision Post-Match Podcast. My name's Elliot. You can block me on Twitter, Yankee Gunner. That's right, Dr. Tottenham. When have they ever let us down? He says, tempting fate. I don't know what to say, everybody. It is what it is. Things aren't great, and we got to talk about how not great they are, but we are here to do it together. And I do want to say, the one thing social media makes you aware of, or not just social media, the WhatsApp chats, or the phone calls you get, or the text messages, or whatever it is that everybody deals with adversity differently. Rage, sorrow, defiance, right? And whatever you feel when it comes to this kind of situation that we find ourselves in is totally and entirely your right. Just feel it authentically. All I would say is that we treat one another well because we're all we have. Because I'm going to tell you something. If we bottle the league, if we don't win another game this season, if we come away with no trophies, you know what we have next season? Arsenal and each other. That's all we've got. So we're going to have to find a way to be through it together, in it together, and with each other. It could be wonderful, but it could be painful, and we're going to have to find a way to navigate all of that. And there's going to be a lot more of both, I'm guessing, joy and pain as this run-in continues. I will tell you that Tim and I did a countdown. I think this is a really cool way to do it. We did a predictatron for the balance of the season. Spoilers, none of us predicted dropping points to Wolves, but some of us did have it pretty close. It's an interesting one to look at, but we did it as 10 questions. So questions about if we don't win things, what does that mean for Mikel's future? Who's going to be our leading scorer on the run-in, right? Questions about the run-in that you might want to hear. So if you want to hear that, it's over on the Patreon, as is the instant reaction, which was very emotional. Obviously, angry Clive, angry Paul, angry myself. You can get the raw emotion there, or you could just stay here and we'll have a nice chat about things and hopefully come away feeling like we have a little bit of a better understanding. But again, spoiler, I doubt we will. You know what will help? Arsenal beating Spurs on Sunday. We'll be in Dallas. This is it. Your chance to be with us to see where Arsenal lay down a marker, turn the season back in the right direction, and get back to winning ways against the hated enemy. Dallas Cosm on Sunday. Go to our website, ArsenalVisionPodcast.com. Check out the link to Dallas. It'll give you all the information we want to see you there. You can go for free with the promo code. We'll do a pod. We'll hang out. We'll have some drinks. We'll celebrate. And then see how the day goes. Here in the now is Clive. Hello, Clive.
Hello, look.
All right. I mean, just as a starter, I said at the top, everybody deals with adversity differently. Rage, sorrow, defiance, curling up in a ball and hiding in the closet. Where are you psychologically? How are you dealing with the adversity that we are confronted with in the moment?
Yeah, I come from a football background, and basically you're taught to say, to try out the line, never get too high, never get too low. I got a little bit low yesterday, shall we say. Yeah. And you can't help it, right? You're invested emotionally in your team, and there are concerns, and it's really interesting. I've had a little look around this morning online, and it's very interesting to see how people respond and who they blame, and some of them blame me, who they blame, and but
I mean, it's your fault, but there may be other people who are involved.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, and it's just a reaction, and I've learned over time to do this over a long time. It doesn't last long. There's always another game around the corner, and when that game happens, we reach new conclusions. But there are things that are more trend based, and we should speak about those things, because they're relevant to today and what's happened this season, and how we have reacted to the learnings that are on offer. Some of those learnings we've reacted really, really well with how we built the squad and got to this position. Some of those in-game learnings, I don't think we've done as well. And I think there's enough data now to say, well, actually, we all, because it's not just me, we may have a point, on this, and some of the balance and some of the things that we do on certain game states and scenarios, and how we manage the stress of that moment. And do we have a plan for when we score? Strangely enough, it's something that we mentioned recently. When we score, what do we do? Who do we become? Who do we default to? Who do we revert to? Who are the people that stand up? Who are the people that disappear? I'm not sure there's a consistent theme there, but a consistent theme is we don't react well. And we haven't reacted well for a little while. I think that needs to change, and that needs to be investigated as to why. Well, I'm sure we'll do that over the next period of time, innit?
Yeah, I'm low, but I do have to say, I'm not stunned. I mean, yeah, dropping points to Wolves, I guess. I mean, we were at the Emirates to see us nearly drop points to Wolves in the reverse fixture. Yeah. But there have been a lot of people that I think have wanted to resist the analysis of us not being in good form in the league, because the fear of analyzing it and acknowledging it means you have to accept that we may be in a bit of trouble. And there is that saying, from the sun also rises. How did you go bankrupt? Gradually, then suddenly. And this feels sudden, but it is not. It is gradual. It is the draw at Forest, the draw to Liverpool, the loss to United, the draw to Brentford, right? It is a sequence of games where we have struggled to hit our top level in both phases. And we'll cover all this in this game, but like, it is the attack looking easy to subdue. It is periods of games where we seem unable to pass to an Arsenal shirt and keep the ball and reduce the danger. And then it is bozo moments of giving the ball to Mbeumo or David Raya and Gabby getting in each other's way and dropping the ball. You know, I saw a stat going around, and I know they talked about it on the Arscast about how we've allowed 16 or 19 goals from 0.00001 XG. It's the craziest thing ever. But like, it doesn't feel that way to me. The Mbeumo goal against United doesn't feel unlucky. The goal last night, that the equalizer, doesn't feel unlucky. It feels self-inflicted. And those are the moments of reflection. You know what? Every team gets hit with a stunner. Liverpool, I watched a game where they dropped points from
Fulham.
Was it Wilson? Yeah, Fulham. Harry Wilson, right? Stunning. What wasn't Harry Wilson, was it?
No.
It was someone else.
I'm not going to remember his name. Don't bring it up.
I'm not Tim, mate. Who is it?
I want to say Harrison something.
Yeah, let's put it this way. Stunning goal. When that happens, you hold your hands up. But I don't feel that we are just... Harrison Reed, that's it. Thank you. Harry Wilson, Harrison Reed. I mean, you know, there's phonic qualities about them that are similar. Point is, we've done things that are self-inflicted. And for me, this is a case of an acute pain that is going to require introspection. But we're saying a lot of these same things after United. This is a moment that could be a turning point. Mikel said from here, we have to decide how we want to approach the season. And those words are great, but they have to be backed up by action. So
yeah, I actually wrote a tweet and said turning point, because I was really impressed at that press conference. And the amount of people that sent it back to me to say, well, it wasn't a turning point. Well, we won the next 3 games. We got to a final, but and it seemed like a turning point, but then we had Brentford and now we've had Wolves. So that's been thrown back in my face. I mean, I didn't actually sit in that press conference, and I didn't actually utter those words. Just want to make that clear.
Yeah. And by the way, I think Rob Edwards said something that we should be paying attention to. He said, Arsenal are much better than us. They're going to dominate you. They're going to make the game tough. But he said, but they have more to play for. They have more stress on their shoulders. And we knew that if we could at least be in the game late, that's something we could take advantage of. And teams understand that stress. Yep.
Sorry, mate. I thought you'd done it. Well, what do you think Chelsea did in the League Cup semi? They got criticised for it, for going out with a whimper, because the outcome didn't fit. You know, the game plan didn't work, because the outcome was we held out. We did well, not say held out. We controlled it a lot better. We controlled the ball, limited them to literally nothing, and then broke away and scored towards the end. They had a great night. They try to do the same thing. One of my lines, Elliot, the other team tells you about you. You know, you don't want to attack us really, because we might pull you apart, but attack our mentality, attack our psychology. We have lost the psychological battle this season. We have lost the PR battle. We have been put in a position, due to our own successes, of being the world and European champions and the Premier League champions, going for the quadruple. Never had that in my Arsenal time, being in that position. Never. You know, and we've had to carry that burden in a social media era where really the biggest story of all is let's lift them up into his position. But the biggest story of all, apart from the World Cup this summer, is if Arsenal don't win anything. You know, and that's going to be the story. And so we've been put in a psychological place that you try to cut out, but we can all see that's weighing on different people at different times. So I include people inside and outside of the club. It's weighing on the fan base. It's taking away the enjoyment. And everything that goes wrong is really analysed to a microscopic level. And this is a moment for calm. I'm genuinely a calm person, but this is a moment for calm, because you can't affect what's just gone. I am interested to see how we learn from this. And this is my worry. We all have worries, different worries, player worries, coach worries. But my worry, when it comes down to it, when a team is in a good moment psychologically, when it feels it's got something to go for, when it feels psychologically relaxed and able to impose their game, they do things in a more positive way. And I feel we look burdened at the moment. We look burdened. Even when we're successful, we look burdened. And the joy that we spoke about early in part of the season seems to have gone. for many people, and I don't want to say this. I don't talk for everybody, but there was a little bit in last night, sort of thinking, you know what, man? I saw some people losing trust in the chat, and I thought I didn't blame them. Do you know what I mean? That was my natural reaction. I didn't blame them. They're losing trust. They're protecting their emotions. I didn't blame them for that. You know, they may feel different in 2 days' time, you know, but I didn't blame them. They're allowed to feel that way. And if I saw that in our community, I'm sure it's out there in a much broader community.
Yeah. I do want to give Mikel credit for acknowledging that they have to take it on the chin and accept whatever criticism is being leveled at them right now. Mikel said on the mentality under pressure, he said, I think any question, any criticism, any opinion, you have to take it on the chin today. I think that's it. Any hit, any bullet, take it, because we didn't perform at the level that is required. Anything that anybody says can be right because we didn't do what we have to do. The way to do it is on the pitch on Sunday. It's a great opportunity we have. I mean, that's it. If someone wants to say we're bottlers, today you have to wear it.
Yep.
I'm sorry. You know, if someone wants to say we're going to bottle the league, we're not good enough, today you have to wear it. And it is up to the players and Mikel to find a solution for this. It is 10 points from 21. This isn't a blip. This isn't an accident. This is something that's been on the cards. And I think there's going to be a lot of difficulty analyzing this game in a way, because by 2-0 up, you should never throw these points away. In fact, this is the first time in Premier League history a team top of the table has let a 2+ goal lead slip against a team in the relegation zone. That's Opta data.
Yeah.
Arsenal's 58 points is the fewest the Premier League leaders have had after 27 games since Leicester in 2015-2016, 56 points. And I just want to say this. If you're sitting here feeling like we are top, we still have it in our hands, but somehow the league season feels very unfulfilling and unhappy to me. Why do I feel this way? It's not just the stress of a title. It is what I just said. It's the fewest points league leaders have had. We're not running away with it. We're not playing great. It's 10 points from 21. It's failing to beat Liverpool this season. It's failing to beat City at home. It's late losses to Villa. It's a draw to 10-man Chelsea. It's losing at home to United. The big games, which were the hallmark of Mikel's era, where we were just so good against the big six, have not gone our way this season. And so the culmination of low goal total, not an elite point total, and big game disappointment, and now this run of 10 and 21, I think leaves you feeling, gosh, we're top of the table, and I don't feel I'm enjoying the league season. And I think that's why it's not as incongruous as you might think, Clive. It is a league season that has been a slog for everyone. We have analyzed that on this podcast. But for Arsenal, it is certainly not the fun you'd expect to be having sitting top in mid to late February.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting season. I don't think anybody would have foreseen this season before it started. You know, we were thinking, let's just get back up there again, and then suddenly we were behind Liverpool, handbrake on, blah, blah, blah. We then get a point against City, and then we start to progress, and other teams drop away, and we start to look really good, and we are positioned as favourites. I think I did one of our podcasts, we call it The Unmarked. I did one the other day, and I spoke about, as I was going for one of my walks, I was thinking about which one of the players are in form, which one of them are in a good moment. And as I was going through it, I thought, bloody hell, there's not that many. No. And I thought, I need to get this into a podcast, because I think you can tell something that's intangible about a team when it's flowing and it's punching forward and it's all in a good place. And there are some players that really exploded into the season that have gone flat, you know, massively flat, you know. And it's just, there's many, you know, and some people are now thinking, well, what about this one, Clive? What about that player? What about our centre forward? What about this player? Honestly, you can go where you like, but there are people that were in form, that were consistently in form, that we never thought would drop away form-wise, that have, you know, and that's a problem. And so when we're not in a good moment, how are we grinding out the results? Because we are not in a good moment. We are not the team that beat Bayern Munich. We're just not. You know, when almost everybody of the team was in top form, top health, top spring, even though we had injuries, it didn't seem to matter. We found a solution and we overcome it and overcome the other best team in Europe, in my opinion. And then go away to Inter Milan and just deal with them. And there were times we've been in a really good moment. You can see it, and you can see it appearing, and you like it. At this moment in time, even when we beat Sunderland, it wasn't in a good moment. You didn't feel that feeling you get when your team is pushing forward. Take the result, no drama. But I do think there's a consistent thing about when we go one up, Elliot. I'd like to see more of a strategy, something that I'd like to see more of a mental reset. And the reset seems to be taking us 10 yards back rather than taking us 10 yards forward. I think just that change in attitude to say that we want to put the foot on the throat, as you Americans say, right? Put on the foot on the throat and really take a team to the cleans. We tend to be happy in the margins. And that can only lead to what it led to against Wolves. Massive disappointment. It's a sort of disappointment that's actually quite unifying because there is no debate about how everyone feels. There's a volume difference, but there is no debate. Everybody's disappointed. Everyone feels that is a moment. And so it's almost, it brings us together in some ways. You know, you can't dress it. You can't be 2-0 up against Wolves away. The worst team in the Premier League, statistically, could be the worst team ever in the Premier League if you don't get a few more points. And we are sitting there as a Premier side, not only in the league, but in Europe. And we cannot muster the professionalism and the strategy and the calm collectiveness to pass the ball 20 times to each other. That's all we had to do. And we couldn't do it. And it's disappointing. And then you have to question things. And that's what we're going to do.
There is a frustration I feel with this team that is, we get our nose in front, or even before we have our nose in front, we get comfortable with a game being tight. You always say to playing 2-0 football at 1-0, but it's just for Wolves to have more of the ball in the second half, for Wolves to complete more passes than us, right, in the second half, to have 3 shots against the bottom side in the last hour of football. I think it speaks to either a fear or a lack of the right mindset. Because I have to tell you, when I watch the Wigan game, and look, it is very clear that the Wigan game is an easy one because they are terrible, but Wolves are pretty bad too. With the Wigan game, the urgency to get the ball and play it forward, We want goals. We want to get in. We want to go at them. There were times in this game where we would have the ball in the attacking third, and I'd watch the screen and I thought the ref had blown the whistle because everyone was standing stock still, content with what we had done in the 4th minute of the game. And, you know, it really stood out to me. We score in the 5th minute, and the commentators are doing that, you really fear for Wolves tonight thing. And they're spending the first 20 minutes going, it's sad to see the state of this once proud club, a quiet night at Molineux and not full stadium, and Arsenal able to do whatever they want. Wolves were there to be turned over. And we did not show the enthusiasm and the intensity, the excitement to do what we did in the FA Cup and turn them over. Now, it's player performances, maybe it's managerial instruction, maybe it's the mindset, maybe it's the stress of the title race. But there was a period of that game where we could have put it out of sight. And the funny thing is, and people will not, I say dumb things sometimes, this may be one of them. I feel going 2-0 up after 25 minutes would have been very different than going 2-0 up after 75 minutes. I think the mindset of a team that's being rocked that way means had Martinelli taken his chance and we go 2-0 up there, then I think we go 3 or 4 or 5. It's different when it's later in the game. And it's different when they brought on the young kid and they're like, all right, now we got 15 minutes to go see what we can do. I just think the urgency wasn't there when the game was there for us to take it. We waste halves. We wasted the second half. Mikel was clear on that. On the second half, he said it was a moment after moment after moment. Even though we scored the second goal, we never got the grip and the dominance of the game. That's the reality. I think, as I said, it's very basic things, very simple things that today we did really wrong. And that's why we had the feeling without really conceding much. But the moment is always the game. Open to anything can happen. And it did. We'll come to the end stages in a moment. I'm going to roll back to the beginning now. Clive, I'm going to give you an opinion you won't like, but first I'll let you give an opinion that makes more sense, so mine is shielded by your wisdom. You see the lineup. It's Saka at 10. It's the sprinters up front. I'm curious what you made of the group you picked. And I know you hate lineup talk, but it's a launching point for where I think we can go from here. So what do you make of it?
Yeah, lineup talk is not unifying because we all have opinions on certain players. And so I try to stay away from it because selection has been made of many different things. You know, we don't know what's happening in training. We don't know where people are in their health. We don't know where they are in their contracts. We don't know where we are in their. We just don't know. And so selection is something that's very internalized. But when I see the team, I can say, okay, then. Oh, okay, we got Madueke, Gyokeres and Martinelli. I see, I see Saka in behind. I think that's one creator. I always think in that front four, there should be two creators, two runners. That's just my basic thought process. Trossard didn't play the game before. Eze played the game against Wigan and played really, really well. I'd have laid money on one of those two starting. Absolutely would have laid money on it. And the rest, I thought, I'm quite happy with it. I like to see Saka in the 10. I thought he was a success. Madueke's earned his plays. Gyokeres didn't start the last game, so he comes in from the away game. I've said in the past, he's better away from home. Although in this game, that opinion got ruined. And then you got Martinelli, who's been bright, but we also know his brightest periods come when he has days off.
Mm.
And when he's been the first pick wide player, I think he's struggled. And so he needs that break, and he absolutely he ran out of puff in this game. I don't want to talk about it.
He couldn't run at the end. There was a chance for him to cross it late when he was trying to sprint up the right-hand side, and he just didn't have... He couldn't lift his legs.
Didn't have it, and I'm trying to not pick on individuals but I'm very disappointed in his attitude, to be honest. We can make a mistake in football matches, but I thought his attitude was wrong. I didn't think he was serious enough as a footballer, and I'm like, well, he should be serious, and that's what I saw through my TV screen. So it's a very narrow view, a narrow opinion, but I felt very strongly that chance at 2-0 was really important. Really important. And because I know this team, I know they're a 65-minute attacking team. I know it. I also know we've got Spurs on Sunday, and that comes into people's view really quickly.
Yeah.
So deal with the game early, because then that psychological weight of the next game can come into play, but this game will be over. And so yeah, I was disappointed in that aspect. But yeah, going back to lineup, I thought we were creator short, and by that I mean just somebody that can look after the ball and people with trust to run off of. I think Madueke is okay for him to be loose and straight and direct, but to have someone else on the other side doing exactly the same, it's very hard to combine and have combined patterns when you've got two individualist carriers without a couple of creators in the middle. We only had one creator in the middle, and I felt that held us back a little bit. However, caveat that by saying we were 2-0 up, so it was good enough.
Yeah.
So, and it's better than them lot, mate. So let's not pretend we're talking about dog and duck
it's
here.
tough, right? On the one hand, whichever 11 we picked should have been good enough to win.
Yeah.
And when you're 2-0 up against the bottom side, you should win. So those two things are true. And yet, in the context of this run of 10 points from 21, I think there are recurrent issues with how we attack that make games tighter and tenser and nervier than they need to be. When we get a goal, it feels like a Herculean effort to do it. And then it feels like, well, we may never get another one, so we better hold this. And that psychological burden on top of the burden of a title race is not a good one to have to wear.
Okay, which one of our attackers are in form?
None of them. But so can I give you my thought when I saw the lineup? I don't think anyone's going to love this.
No, I think it's an important point. Which one of our attackers are in form? They're spotty. Martinelli's had some bright moments against weak opposition.
Nani had some bright moments against weak opposition.
Yeah, Saka's been in and out of injury. Gyokeres might be statistically the best of all, but none of us are 100% convinced. Kai's our hero, but he's injured. Reno
Eze looked good against Wigan.
Eze, what position is he going to play? Different positions.
Odegaard's injured.
Odegaard's injured. Hey, Jesus, mate, don't get me started, Elliot. So when we talk about attack, we have to look at the individuals within it. And then as well as how it's deployed and who gets selected, I come back to my point. Who is in a good moment?
All right. I'll just say this as a trial balloon, and then I'll leave it, and we can investigate it in June.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's entirely out of bounds to say, under this manager, the system has emphasized solidity and shape over urgency to create attacking opportunities, and that when every attacker is in a bad moment, it could be that it's all the attackers, but you must at least be open to the theory that there's something about the system. Yeah, because that's only fair. You cannot sit here and praise this wonderful manager to the rafters for where he's brought us and then refuse to look at him as being in some ways involved in the challenges that we have as an attacking team. I think that would be intellectually inconsistent. What I will say, so my honest truth on the lineup.
Oh, no. So go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to say this because this ties into that, Clive. I have to admit, when I saw the lineup, I was super excited. Saka in midfield. I'm excited. I want to see that again. That's fun. I think he can be great there. And of course, he gets the goal. And I think he did a lot of great things. But there was a little terror that hit me. And I thought, oh, shit. We're in a title race with 12 games to go. And we're moving our best right winger into midfield, not playing Eza, who we acquired in the summer, playing another configuration we've never used in the Premier League, because with 12 games left, we genuinely don't know our best configuration of how to attack. And like, as excited as I was for Saka in midfield, Clive, this squad that Mikel has been handed has felt like a shoe that doesn't quite fit the whole season, and he's trying to figure out how to lace it or how to get his foot into it. Like, it is the case that we have tried Eza in midfield and Odegaard in midfield and Kai and Marino and Gyokeres and Saka on the right, and Saka now in midfield with Nani on the right, and the three sprinters and the three on-ball players. And I'll confess, for this game, when I'm watching Wolves sit deep and say, pick the lock, I'm looking at Martinelli, Nani, and Gyokeres. I'm saying, Gyokeres is saying, who's going to be the combination play? Where are the triangles on the edge of the box? Who's going to 1-2 and play, upset and through, or whatever you want to say? Like, I don't know. With 11 games to go now, if you said to me, what's the 11? What's the attack? How does it click together? I don't know, and I'm not sure Mikel knows either. And I think that was evident in what he picked for this game.
Yeah, things change on a game-by-game basis, right? So when I was walking into the ground against Wigan, I didn't think Bukayo Saka was going to play number 10. I was looking forward to Miles Lewis-Skelly playing in midfield.
Yeah,
then,
that's my point.
If you watch that game for the first 45 minutes, I'd have done exactly what Mikel did. I'll be playing him number 10 the next game. Simple as that.
Can I stop and say one thing? I'm not saying Mikel did what he did was wrong, just so we're clear. I'm saying I think it is indicative of a manager who is still trying stuff instead of knowing stuff. And with only 11 games to go, that is a bit of a worry to me. That's all.
Yeah, and absolutely right, Elliot. But I suppose, we have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to be defending a situation against Wolves where we're all disappointed, but we have to be honest and say we've loaned out Ethan Nwaneri, we've lost Mikel Merino, we're injured Martin Odegaard and injured Kai Havertz. So that's 4 lefties that play in that position.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
So whether he's searching or whether he's trying to find a solution, choose your language, right? So it's your language. I'm glad he's trying to find something better because system-wise, we lack centrality in how we attack. And Bukayo Saka, whatever you think, he's brilliant in the centre of the pitch because he can look after it, protect it, roll around. He can win tackles in there. He fights back. He presses in there. And I'm looking at the options that we have currently available. And Eze could equally do it in a different way, work with Saka, etc. I would have liked to see Eze off left in this game, Elliot, if I'm honest with you. He hit some form.
Absolutely, 100,000%, yes.
He hit some form. And against Wigan, mate, he was so good. I thought, that's the time you tap into the hot hand. You don't sit him and freeze his nuts off on the bench for 80 minutes, then bring him on and say, do something. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think that was good man management, if I'm honest with you. Again, I don't know the information. I don't know why Trossard didn't start. I don't know why he didn't start. But you just got to pick one of those two in this game for me and treat it accordingly.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And so that's where I am. I think systemically wise, we can do better in our attacking play and shape. But I come back to it, mate. I come back to it. I don't think we're looking bright at the moment, and that's the first thing to fix. And why are we not looking bright? Why are we looking so heavy-legged? Why are we looking burdened? Why are we looking so patchy and can't sustain it? Is it the 4 competitions that's finally weighing down on our legs? Well, Man City, by the way, are going for quadruple. No one even mentions it. No one's talking about it. They are walking along in our shadow, light-footed, adding players, buying players, and recovering players from injury, going through their worst patch, and we didn't push the button in that period. Well, we are carrying the burden of favouritism because we are a few points ahead. And we achieved more in the Champions League. Well, we're at the same stage of the competition. We've achieved the same in the League Cup, and we're both in the next round of the FA Cup. And so they are sitting there with exactly the same chances of doing exactly what we all talk about, exactly what we are all burdened about, fearful about, worried about. because we've been positioned psychologically, positioned PR-wise, to be the team with everything to lose, and we are playing like it. That's the truth.
And here's the look. We were never going to be the best attack in the world. I just don't think that's a realistic expectation based on what we've seen for 4 years. What we were always going to be, I hoped, was a very strong attack with the world's best defense. Now, the issue with that is defending is part what you physically do out there as a footballer, and part of it is mental. And the scary thing for me is this team that struggles to get a goal, and especially a second, but has gotten its nose in front, has shown that mentally it struggles to then stay in the game and stay in the crucial moments. I referenced the Mbeumo goal against United. The goal against Wolves is the same kind of thing. The goal against Villa is the same kind of thing. Sinking back into your 6-yard box, poor clearances, hack clearances, dropped balls, bad passes. You can't rely on your defensive solidity if you are gifting the opposition opportunities. And we will get into this, but the inability to just keep the ball to make games feel less pressurized, that's hard to explain. But I want to, so look, Saka gets the goal. We go 1-0 up. He does the contract signing celebration, which I enjoyed. It's a lovely cross from Rice. And then there was this period of 20 minutes where we had a ton of high turnovers and just kept doing the wrong thing. Rice took a shot when I think there were some better options. It was a good shot, but I think there's some better options. Martinelli misses the easy tap in after a Nani shot. There were a number of moments before the game came to a screeching halt. I think what started to happen is Wolves started to create some stoppages, going down, holding their head, gaining injury, little foul here, little foul there, and the game kind of ground to a halt. And the pitch was heavy and the weather was poor, and I think we allowed the game to become a very stop-start, dull affair after about 30 minutes. And from 30 minutes on, by the way, they outshot us. We had 3 shots for the last hour of the game. But for the 20 minutes preceding that, after they scored, do you think that there's something to that? Just the precision with which we make decisions in the final third with moments to get a goal, because there were a number of really good high turnovers. Wolves just kept pissing around and giving us the ball away, but we were not able to take advantage of it. How do you diagnose that?
Yeah, well, we didn't do it, Elliot, because we weren't sharp enough on the day. We weren't accurate enough, and that's a we thing. Didn't quite get the right thing. So this is why I know I hang on to this chance a lot, and I shouldn't do this. I hang on to things sometimes, so I apologize. But the reason why the Martinelli chance bothered me, so you could see the situation was deteriorating. You could see that the conditions are only going to get worse. You could see that this was a trap game, as you say it. So you just got to deal with it as quickly as possible, and before the game can, not say run away from you, but just become a contest that we don't need. And that's when you pick up injuries and do dumb stuff and get a sending off or something happens. So you just want the game to be dead. And we didn't deal with it. So I struggle with this one. I struggle with this one because it's so unnecessary. And you know what I really feel for? I mean, I feel for the fans on this one. I really do. Because everybody is so invested. It's not about who's got the right opinion. Emotionally invested, thinking, crikey, we've done so many good things. We are right here. Yet we can't do this. If we can't do this, where's my confidence for Chelsea and Spurs? Why do I think we're going to go to the Etihad and win? What have you done to demonstrate to me that when the pressure hits, that you can deliver? That you can make that pass, you can take that shot, not piss about in the shot in the 6-yard box and flick it up. Volley it in. If you kick the goalkeeper in his head, that's what you do. You run to the side where the fans are, who've just driven, a couple 100 miles. You run to them and you say, cheers. Do you know what I mean? When I look at it, you know what frustrates me? There's a lot of people there that have helped us get to this position. They've accepted their new contracts. They're right here. Big money players. Big money players. The 2 centre forwards that played in this game. Big money, big wages. There comes a time where you have to be accountable for what you're doing. And I'm not one for losing my rag or anything like that. I like to think I'm quite constructive. There are many, many people losing their rags, they're not being constructive, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. This is
Mikel didn't either. He said, we have to take it.
Yeah, I don't blame them. You know, and because that hurts. That hurts because it shows the level of, the words I used last night was unprofessional. You can lose football matches, right? Manchester United, I could deal with that. Honestly, I can. We caught them in a good moment. They've changed their manager, everything to prove, playing once a week, walked into our manor, and we froze. And they done us with some great goals and a mistake. I can take that. I can take Liverpool taking out their forward and playing all midfielders to try to limit the damage. I can take that. I'm not having Forest away, mate. I'm not having Wolves away. Not having that. That's a completely different budget. That's a completely different scale. When we lost to Aston Villa, they were the most formed team in the league, and they beat us in the last second. I can deal with that. You know, just about deal with it. It's unfortunate. I can deal with it. That's football. You can't expect to win every game. But that against Wolves, it's unacceptable. It's unprofessional. And there comes a time where you need to learn.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to break it to you based on what you just said with United. You know, they had all week to prepare for us and they got a new manager. Well, guess what? Yeah. Spurs have had 2 weeks to prepare for us and a new manager. So fingers crossed for that Dallas get-together being a good one. I'll say something a little bit emotional and then we'll shift. I want to talk about the midfield, Rice and Zubimendi. I want to talk about Timber forgetting how to play football for 20 minutes, Leo's injury, and how we wind up getting a goal that should have won it and not winning it. So there's a lot still to get to there, but we have to stay together. Like, look, no one's in the mood for a rallying cry, but let me just say this. I don't know if we're going to do it. I don't know if we're going to win the league. Right now, it does not feel like this team has it. Maybe we can be the reason they do. Like, I get it. Everybody's furious. Some people want the manager out. Some people want all the players sacked. Some people want the Emirates burned down. And I get being there right now. But this team has been close for 4 seasons now. It has to get it done, and it's going to need us. And, like, they clearly are wavering. They clearly are rocked. So the only choice we have is to be the group that picks them up. And I realize, you know, sitting here on a podcast doesn't help, but like at the Emirates, maybe even just in social media, maybe in public spaces, to find some resolve to get a stiff back and a stiff jaw and a smile on your face and feel the love you have for the club and express it, because like they're going to need us. Clearly they don't have it mentally right now. They don't. And they're scared and they're wavering and they're wobbling. And I don't think us delivering the knockout blow, the coup de grace, is the way to go. So, look, that doesn't mean don't analyze it, by the way. That doesn't mean we don't sit here and say, you know, Martinelli was shit or the forwards didn't work or the attack looks moribund. Like, you can say all that, but, like, I think publicly we've got to get a stiff upper lip, stand up straight, pull on the colors and try to get behind them because they need us. Like, I don't think they'll do it without us, Clive. They don't look like they have it, and they're going to need us. So I think we just have to be there for them.
I hear what you're saying, and well said. But I will say, after the last Mikel rallying cry, the next game, I think it may have been Sunderland, and the Chelsea game, it felt different in the ground. So people were really trying to say, you know what, you were right. We were a bit tense against Manchester United, and maybe we didn't help. But in those other games, we've been absolutely fine, and the last home games have been really nice to be at. When it comes down to it, you need to deliver. You need to deliver against Wolves, and I'm sorry we didn't do it. But I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not throwing away everything. I'm not throwing everybody in the bin, you know, because I don't think that's the right thing to do. I'm not about to do it. I'm not about to leave the club and say, well, you've hurt me, so I'm just going to slaughter you. You know, there are things I didn't like. I said them in the most constructive and polite and calm way as I possibly can. But I'm an Arsenal man through and through, and I am not bailing. I am not bailing. Because that's exactly what everyone else wants to do. They want us to do. They want us to bail, divide, and break ourselves apart so they can laugh and say not only has the team not got the bottle for it, but the fans haven't got the bottle for it. And this is why the next game we play, mate, it's got to go well. It's got to go well. And those lads in the corner there, lads and ladies, they'll bring their A game. I promise you that.
And maybe just connect to the fact that there's 4 things we're trying to win, and it hurts like mad when you don't win them, but it matters. And for a couple of years there, it didn't matter at all. We weren't competing for anything. We were miles away. So maybe connect to that. Connect to, as frustrated as we are, as much as we look like bottlers today, and they can't do it, this manager, these players, like, we're close. And maybe we can help push them over the line. But I'll tell you what, if we're bottlers, then we're bottlers.
Yeah, it's clear.
Because that's it.
Yeah.
There's just
accept it.
We'll have to wear it. But you know what? We'll be back here going to games and watching games and talking about games next season. So we're not going anywhere. The players might leave, the manager might leave, the ownership might leave. You know who's never leaving? All of us. But if we can get them over the line this season, if we can be a part of that, all more power to us. And maybe I'm being completely ridiculous. Maybe there's nothing we can do.
We shouldn't be talking ourselves out of anything here, by the way.
Yeah.
We are not 5 points behind.
It feels it.
We are 5 points ahead. We are disappointed of what could be. But we have to keep this in balance, right? We still have this in our hands, but so does City now, by the way. So but we still have this in our hands, and there's lots of games to play, and no one else is showing a consistency level, this year. It's down to us to become consistent.
Yeah, maybe this is what I was trying to say, because nobody needs a rallying cry right now. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, as frustrated as I am and as concerned as I am, and those things are at a level 10, I also don't want to quit. I don't want to concede. Well, it's done. You're seeing a lot of that. Well, that's it. It's done. And I get it. It feels like it's done. It really feels like they don't have it. But it is not done, and I don't want to quit. And there's still every chance we do it. I need to stay connected to that for my own sanity. Let's talk midfield. Let's talk the end game and maybe a little look ahead to Spurs. But before we do that, I'll just quickly tell you about a single brand today, and that is Shopify. I've used Shopify. It is this simple, right? It is the case, I think, that sometimes we have an aspiration to do something, like start a business or whatever it is, and because you have great art or great pottery or great digital products, something that you make, and you'd love to share it with the world, and it feels impossible to do it. And the reason is you may not be technologically of a mind to really know how to get started. Shopify makes it simple. Fortune 500 companies run on Shopify, but your business can run on Shopify too. And literally you just upload pictures, write a description, pick the kind of way you want the website to look, and it plugs in everything. TikTok shop and Facebook shop and Instagram shop. It makes your website look professional. It does things like cart optimization. So it can say to someone, hey, you're buying this goes well with it. Or, hey, you left something in your cart. It can take care of taxes and shipping and all that. It can even source product for you. So if that's an aspiration you have, there is no better platform to use, and you can get a $1 per month trial. So let me tell you about that. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Cha-ching! Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/ArsenalVision. Go to shopify.com/ArsenalVision, shopify.com/ArsenalVision. Hear your first cha-ching this year with Shopify. Buy your site, Clive. Send over that.
Indeed.
Got it. Okay. I have to confess that as much as I think Zubimendi and Rice have been two of our best players this season, I'm not sure we need both of them all the time. Is that silly?
You felt that for about, whoever's in the double pivot, you felt that for about 3 years, right? Because you like to see loads of little attackers, right? So are we going to keep doing this all the time? Because those two players have got us to where we are. I will say to you, despite them being the brain of the team, it's quite easy to spot the people on the outside who are not doing very well. But we didn't control the middle, neither did we in this game. We didn't control it. And by control it, I mean pass direction, knowing when to go forward, knowing when to go backwards, knowing when to go sideways. I don't think we controlled it at all with any consistency, with any pass and move. We tried to do it in an inefficient way. Just move it on a bit. Don't support the play. Not connect it. Just get it away from here. But we're giving the ball away consistently. So I am someone that likes to see the team with a primarily double pivot, but they don't stay there. They really are quite mobile. I mean, look at Zubimendi over this season. Has been a massive success. I think he's flattened out the last couple of games. But he's not standing there, is he, waiting? He's going forward. He's scored goals on the edge of the area. He's put left foot crosses in. So we have to be honest about what we are seeing here. Declan Rice is more of an all-rounder. And the two of them together have been really, really good. However, they didn't control the game. They didn't play the game that was an offer in this game. And I thought, although Rice always comes out with good numbers and a high SOFA score, and you can say to yourself, yeah, he played well, because he always plays well. And he's quite demonstrative and he's quite visible. So you can always see him shouting and pushing and pointing. But he didn't control the game. He didn't control the game. And part of what we do when we go one up, a lot of it comes from those two guys. Where do they stand? Because where they stand, where they feel, is where the team drops. So the centre-backs will drop away to create space. The forwards will come back. So they are the heart and the brain of the team. Two of our best players. I'll tell you now, they're two of our best players. But during these periods, when we go 1-0 up, they need to be studied. Are they doing the right things? Or are they deciding, you know what, let's hold this with our position and let's play where we think we should play? Hence my thought process about not having a strategy when we go 1 up. I don't think we're aggressive enough. I think we're too passive. I think we go to wide areas and we default to our individualists out wide. And when they don't have a good game, we slaughter them because we can see them because they've got the ball to their feet one-on-one and exposed to the camera. We can see them. But the people on the inside jogging, we don't always spot them so easily. When the ball drops, they don't get there first. We say, oh, he looks a bit tired. Oh, the space is a bit big. He's being out physical. But how about controlling the game, controlling the space, controlling our distances? That's a team thing. And we didn't do that in this game.
Yeah. I mean, in the second half, Martin Zubimendi played 23 passes. We passed it under 80%. It's just no control. The ability to keep the ball and play it from Arsenal player to Arsenal player and start stringing passes together and get a team to feel like there's nothing to fight for, it doesn't seem to exist. I mean, that's look, you play with your food at 1-0, you're taking a risk. Mm-hmm. At 2-0, that's the time to make the game dull.
Yeah.
And that's the time we seem incapable of making the game dull, Clive. And what are they there for if not for that?
Exactly that. But on your point, I'm not dismissing your point, Elliot. So we played, I can't remember what we did against Wigan now. Sorry, I'm going to go back and have a look. But against Wigan, we were quite an attacking team, right? So let's have a bit look at what we did.
We had Norgard out there, by the way, which I think a lot of people wonder why he can't get on a pitch.
Yeah, particularly on a wet Wednesday at Wolves. Why not? Right? So we had Norgard and we had Eze and sort of Saka ahead, didn't we? And if we'd have picked, not say those three in particular, but maybe why not? And just put Rice there instead of Norgard and say for the first half hour, mate, you're getting it. And then if we then double pivot up and then do what we got to do, then that's fine. I'm trying to look at solutions. But when we already got to 2-0. So we were at 2-0. So everything I'm talking about, we did it. I would like to do it a half hour sooner, but we did it. If you go back to the City game and they played Fulham, I think the game was over by half time. They just dealt with them. It's a home game, nice day at the Etihad. They dealt with them. We got to deal with these teams. You don't encourage them into deep waters, right? That's what Chelsea tried to do against us, and that's what they did. They said, if we can stay close, the pressure will get to them. And that's exactly what happened. So, I don't dismiss your point. If you were picking a team, that's what you would do, particularly against lower teams, and you would pick that team. I cannot say that's wrong, especially today. When we drop the ball.
Let's be fair to Zubimendi. He's in a new league playing every game 90 minutes because he's so important to us. But this is an opportunity to say, I'm going to play Rice back there and Eze and Saka in midfield because you know what? Even if I'm a little more vulnerable and the game opens up, who's going to get slaughtered if the game opens up between Wolves and Arsenal? Yeah. It's not Arsenal. It's Wolves. If we play that way and there's a little more on-ball quality and a little more devilment in the attacking areas of the pitch and the game winds up stretching out because sometimes Eze loses the ball or Saka loses the ball. First of all, you got Rice, the best in the world at going and recovering it. But if Wolves are going to come play a little bit against us, that's when they're going to get killed.
And that's when you change the usage of Timber, Elliot, for example, and say to him, well, actually, you be the right-sided midfielder. They're not going to come at us, which they didn't. And we've got three back here who can deal with them. But we protect our middle. But we're now saying to you, Wolves, we are playing up your end of the pitch with our talent. See if you can stop them. But I don't dismiss that at all. I really don't. And sometimes you've got to send a message to a team who are bottom of the league with 9 points. But we got our 2-0. And we should have had our 2-0 sooner. It's what we didn't do at that point is really, really the concern in this game.
That's entirely fair. I mean, the thing that makes the analysis hard, so there's two sides to the coin, right? The one side of the coin is I feel the attack lacks urgency and creativity and chance creation, and that makes teams feel more comfortable against us than they should. I think that has been the case over this run of 10 points in 21. The reality, to your point, Clive, is we got this to 2-0. Yeah. So whether you want to say the attack was disappointing for an hour, at 70 or 57 minutes, we're 2-0 up, game over. Now, really quickly, that is a beautiful goal. Gosh, can I tell you how awful I am? I loved that goal. Gabby, beautiful through ball to Hincapie, lovely little toe poke finish when he's under a lot of pressure and being grabbed at. But this is where I stink, where I'm the worst. There's a part of me that's like, we're getting through balls from center backs and runs in behind from fullbacks, and we've got all this attacking talent, and we can't kind of generate any of those dynamics from our attacking players. But without wanting to crap on a beautiful goal really quickly, Clive, it is a lovely goal, a lovely bit of play from Gabby, and a lovely bit of play from Hincapie, who Hincapie might be the one guy that comes out of this game with real credit in the bank.
Yeah, I thought Hincapie and Saka actually were the two that really stood out to me. And I always liked the centre backs, but their fingers were on the crime. At the end potentially.
One of them in particular. Yeah.
So yeah, but you know what it did, Elliot? It made me annoyed when that goal was scored because
me too.
Yeah, because I think Hincapie's been really, really good, and he's forced his way into the team. He's definitely unsettled Calafiori. He's lost his GPS big time, and but he made a run, and he just made a run off the side, a simple, out to in run, staying on side, forcing the passer to pass for him. It didn't matter who the passer is. It happened to be our centre back. That tells you movement drives the pass. Then he gets into the area. He doesn't mess about. His first touch keeps it on his strong side, and he clips it high into the net. I mean, crikey. Can you have a word about wide men, can you?
That's what I'm saying.
One's coming to my mind real quick. Right? Just clip it into the top of the net. And I really liked that goal. I thought, that's it. It's done. But you know what? I'm going to really be picky now, right? I didn't like the attitude while we were waiting for that goal to be given. People laughing and joking. I'm thinking, mate, I'm sitting here, my stomach's in knots.
It's an existential goal for our season, and we're like, it's just preseason.
Laughing and joking. I'm thinking, I'm dying here. Literally dying. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who was dying, hoping that goal will be given. He's given it.
What the hell was the linesman doing putting his flag up?
Yeah. And then you basically, then you have that moment of relief. Hey, mate, I'm allowed to have that moment of relief. The players aren't. That's when you get on it. That's when you start talking at that moment. That's when you start talking. That's when you get tight. That's when you start playing in the areas you want to play. That's when you say to each other, right, 15 passes just 15 passes. Just shout 15. That's it. And let's do 15. Everyone gets on the boat and everyone starts to move and receive to keep it and really focuses. We don't have a plan. We just want to play it out and see how it goes. It's not good enough because we have a plan to get there. We have a plan, whether you like it or not. We have a way of playing to get to that moment. That's when you have to respect the game and respect your opponent. And we didn't do that.
Yeah. And I mean, this is where the midfield ties into it too. So Eza and Jesus come on. Obviously not a good showing for Jesus. And there was that really unfortunate moment where he's in away right before they get their goal, actually. And to your point about lack of professionalism, the casualness with which he attacked that situation, addressed that situation late was incredibly frustrating.
He got his lunch money stolen, mate. People just come up to him, took his lunch money out of his pocket and just said, I'm having your lunch money. What the heck? Don't start pushing people after the whistle. Cut across your man properly. You're not a kid. Again, you're top payer, one of our captains. Chop inside. You got options. You got a cross. You can chop inside, cut out the defender, or get a shot off. Don't let someone come up to you and just take your money out of your pocket and turn around.
Easy cross to Martinelli, or chop in like he did against United that one time to make the game safe.
Just do something.
Was it Dallo who just went sliding past him?
There's got to be a shot out of that. There's got to be something come out of that. And but nothing come out of it. In fact, we actually gave them momentum. Ridiculous.
Yeah. And like the other thing, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend Eze was good, even though I'm a huge fan of him. But like, this is the problem with the midfield losing their dominance and control of the game is if you're going to bring a player like Eze on, what you need the players in the central part of the pitch to get some control, pass it to each other, and find a ball between the lines. But we just lost control of the game completely. Look, their goal, to make it 2-1, comes quick, and that didn't help. But this is one where I will have a little bit of sympathy. They have a corner. The corner is cleared. everybody flows to that part of the pitch and we lose the ball in the duel. We kind of lost a lot of second balls in this game, to be fair. And the ball goes quickly back out to the side where the corner had been taken. And so we don't have the cover there that we need. And then it's just a really good shot. Now, I have seen some people suggest that's not in the corner and maybe Raya should do better with it. There is a sense, I mean, look, if you're going to look at how many low XG shots we concede, then you have to look at the keeper as to why we're doing that. Do I think Donnarumma finds a way to claw that out? I do. I don't think Raya did anything wrong on that other than just being a keeper who sometimes will be beaten because he's not 6'7".
Yeah, we looked disorganised, and to have the left back coming on the right hand side, coming on his left foot, I think that fooled Hincapie, shall we say? And he didn't quite close down the distances. But he scored his first goal ever and stuck in our top corner. Thanks for coming, mate. Brilliant. And the moment he left his foot, he was going in, wasn't it? David Raya is actually much better at saving shots from 3 yards away than he is from 33 yards away. And that's been clear. We've seen him ourselves, Elliot, live in the stadiums. It's been clear. That's his weaker point. But for me, he's top 2, top 3 in the league. And a big part of how we play, he has that weakness, mate. And there's evidence there to say it, right? So some of the shots are beating him from far out. I'm not sure anyone would get him. I think he's a bit unlucky at some of these. But that one felt, could you? Is that just my heart saying, can you bail us out here?
I felt that way in the moment. Yeah.
Could you?
I could be wrong.
Was he a bit high? Was he a bit high? And he went over him, really, didn't he? He didn't really go around him, over and around. Was he a bit high? Maybe. I'm not going to say I'm a goalkeeper expert, right? So, but I was hoping he would pull us something out of the bag there, which he has done consistently. So but I will say, forget that. Back to who is he in a good moment? I felt he looked rattled at Brentford. I thought he looked rattled. I looked into his face. He looked rattled. He looked rattled in this game. And you could see it in his face when the goal went in. He looked rattled. I don't know why he's doing this. I don't know why he's running, a couple of things the other day and he ran out of his box and just rolled it to somebody. They turned around, got a shot in. He makes a save. I think that was against Blackburn. Sorry, Brentford. I keep saying Blackburn. Brentford. When he rolled it out and Thiago got the head and he makes a fantastic save from inside the box, which no other keeper can save, because he's really good at that. But that was a problem of his own making. So he's not in the best moment at the moment. And this is where we need these people who have been really, really good to get themselves back in order and stop looking at the bigger prize and start looking at the next pass, the next shot. Look at the small details because we're looking a bit off at the moment, Elliot.
Yeah. In terms of how the attacking dynamic works, by the way, Billy Carpenter posted out a pretty interesting stat. Interesting might be one word for it. Shit might be another. That was the 6th game that Martinelli and Gyokeres have started together in the Premier League. In those 6 games, they've combined for 0 goals, 0 assists. Gyokeres is yet to have a shot on target, and Martinelli is 4 of 15 on crosses. So whatever you want to say about how you configure an attack, that ain't it.
They might be better in Europe than in the cup competitions, those two together, because they seem to combine. However, back to where we started, I felt we were creator short. Either do your Eze Saka thing or get Eze wide left in this game. It just felt obvious. I think Trossard has a relationship with Gyokeres. It seemed clear to me that he does his little shake and bake, chops inside, and he passes into that channel. Gyokeres gets onto it, and then we build from there. Martinelli is not someone that's associative. He's more for someone that gets near people for bits and pieces, or he's a runner shooter, right? And until he runs out. And so that combination doesn't seem to work. And I think there's enough evidence there for us to say now that's not working.
Yeah, absolutely. Mikel Arteta is not unique in this. Every manager has favorites. Like I hear people say, Mikel plays favorites. Find me a manager who doesn't play favorites. Like managers have their group, their guys they trust. Like they have to.
Yeah, trust.
Yeah, they have to. And trust is hard to give and easy to lose. I do think Eberechi Eze is not in the circle of trust fully with Mikel. I'm not saying he hates him. I just don't think he's a player you fully trust. But it feels to me like Ben White is not in the circle of trust because for the last 25 minutes of this game, Jurrien Timber feels like he just stopped knowing how to play football. Now, there was a point where it looked like he got hurt, something with his ankle. He was
Quite
holding
early,
it.
actually.
He was
He
limping.
got stamped on his foot or something,
Yeah. Played it off. But the last 20 minutes, I mean, he was kicking like comfortable passes into touch. He was booting the ball into the stand. Like, this was a moment for Ben White to come on for Jurrien Timber in my mind, and he didn't do it. And I'm curious if you're surprised he didn't do it, if you think that that's a blind spot for Mikel. I mean, we also don't know because Ben White, there were rumors of an injury following the Wigan game, but Ben White himself posted out on socials, "I'm not injured," essentially.
Yeah.
So we surprised he wasn't used.
Hang on, this is Ben White we talk about, who basically played with a grade 2 hamstring against Newcastle a few years ago and played with injuries and would never tell anybody he was injured. And, but there are things you can do, right? There are things you can do. So whether it's Ben White or not, I know the players that don't play, they suddenly get better. I mean, Kai's basically Diego Maradona at the moment, right? So, but I do think you can do things, If you're struggling at right back and you're thinking, what, Ben's had a bit of a hamstring alert, I don't want to put him on, put Mosquera on. Just put him there. And say,
Great point.
Just play Mosquera there. That kid is brilliant, right? Just play Mosquera there. And just
neutralize the other Mosquera. You can cancel him out.
and just do that. And just say to yourself, I need to look after this guy, because Timber will keep going and keep going. And the problem is, with him is, he wants to help the team so much. I think he empties his position too quickly, too early. If you're passing to insecure people on the ball, like who, particularly late in games, Noni and Martinelli, they're not the most secure in possession when they're tired, right? They're not Bukayo who just says, I'm buying a foul here. I'm tired, I'm going to get a foul, but you can play the ball into me and I'll look after it. They're not the same. So you have to adjust your movements accordingly. I should tell my son, do not run past your winger unless the possession is secure. Do not do it. Wait till you have secure possession, because if you lose it, you're out of position, everyone's out of position. The centre-half's got to roll over. The other centre-half rolls over. Left-back's got to roll over, and there's always a man over. That's because you've got excited. Sometimes I think Timber does that. Do it with Saka, but be careful with the others. Make sure you're there for a set and they can build play. Sometimes when you're managing a game, just calm down a little bit. That's all it is. Calm down. Have a bit of assurance about you. Stop dashing around. He was running into spaces. Players didn't move. Into a crowd scene. Try a little flick. The only person who looks stupid is you. This way you need to be a little bit more controlled, or talk to your people around you, your little interior team within a team, your unit, and say, when I start moving forward, mate, spinning behind, because I need that space, that separation. And this is a lack of cohesion that we played. We're basically a team that some players were doing what they wanted and some players were trying to rest their way through the game and have it as a low event game, and we got caught out. It's our fault.
Yeah, I mean, are we unlucky that we conceded a very good goal from next to nothing to make it 2-1? We are. Are we unlucky with how we played the rest of the game from there? Not remotely. We're a culprit. And that's where I think Mikel is part of it, because I think at that point the instinct is see it out. And I think you've got to get your foot on the ball and you've got to control that game and let your quality be the deciding factor, not the risk. Because the funny thing is, the reason we didn't win that game was the reason you have to dominate football games. Because weird, dumb, unpredictable shit or mistakes at the back happen that give teams a goal who otherwise would not have found one.
Yeah.
And you have to dominate your game to prevent that from happening.
The thing is, Elliot, the Chelsea second leg game was the sort of game that we needed to play in some ways. Once you got your goals, you just need to hide the ball from them. And we did that really, really well. We hid the ball from them until they end up with nothing, until they got frustrated and then we broke out and scored. We need to have that sort of strategy in this game, and we didn't. And so it's not as if we can't do it. We haven't done it. We're quite good at nullifying games. We just seem to have lost our way a little bit recently.
There's some frustration at Leo. I don't understand it at all. Leo Trossard took a snide sort of chest to the jaw.
Yeah,
and
I think he's in trouble.
Was clearly wrong in my mind.
I thought he staggered backwards.
I thought he did as well.
Yeah, and
after he got up.
And
he got up and then staggered.
Yeah,
I thought.
I think
he was clearly not well.
That could be a problem. I don't know if he's concussed.
I don't think he'll play on Sunday. I don't think he'll be clear to play on Sunday.
Well, yeah. So let's see what happens there. That was a moment. There was some slack. That wasn't his fault, but that was just leading to the sense of doom that I had. You know, I just wanted that 6 minutes to disappear, and he would lay down for 3 minutes. It was just needed the moments of calm at that point. What are we going to do? What are we going to do at that point? Do we still keep pushing, or do we say, no, we're sitting, we're mid-blocking? Do whatever we do, we have a strategy for it. You know, when Calafiori came, and I couldn't tell you where he was playing. You know, I just couldn't, you know. So he was just out there trying to make an impression in the limited time that he has, because he realised his place is under threat. You know, so I wasn't helping for any calmness or structure to our team. Zubimendi was finished. Rice was trying to, his default is to try to do everything for everybody and just try to see a spot where the ball might go. But that doesn't mean he's going to engage consistently. That means he's going to drop away to try to protect our line. And so I don't think we were clear-minded at that point. You know, Martinelli on their goal on the second goal, if you want to go to that now, Elliot, but on their goal, on the second goal, Jesus does his thing where he's running in quicksand, right? And then he disappears. They come out the other end. And it goes to their sort of left winger, straight left back. And Timber's got him one-on-one. He's got him, right? So Martinelli comes in the picture, leaves there's a player for the Wolves player to set to, and there's a player that Timber was doing one-on-one. So Martinelli runs past the set option, gets involved in Timber's one-on-one, and then doesn't really engage. And so when he sets it back to the player that Martinelli should have stayed on or blocked off, he's now got an unpressured cross into our box. Now, if you're a defender and you see a cross come into your box without any pressure on the ball, you know what you do a little bit? You drop away, knowing they're going to be making runs in behind you. Yeah. And so Big Gabby drops away, and he's just about to head that ball until his goalkeeper flies into the picture like Superman and heads it off his head or punches it down, affects his clearance, drops to their guy, and then we drop behind the keeper, and then basically we don't really rush the kid on the ball like Kelleher did against Martinelli, for example. He didn't sprint out. He stands, think I'll be able to save this. Not able to, and he bumbles over the line. It's all on us, mate. It's all on us. We didn't control the details. It's all on us. It's not unlucky. It's on us. You earn your luck. And I'm just hoping we learn the lessons. But if someone's going to say in the comments to me that, Clive, we're not learning lessons, you won't get a reply from me disagreeing, because it's there right in front of us.
When Wolves brought on an academy kid for his first ever Premier League minutes, like you knew that guy was scoring. You just hoped it wasn't going to be the equalizer. It's the Danny Rose effect, right? It's just, you know it's coming. I will say this, though, however you want to analyze it, that cross is a nothing cross with no danger. There is no Wolves player. I think David Raya may have some flaws, but one of the things I think he is best at in the world is claiming crosses. There is no analysis of this that I can apply to this moment other than terror and panic and stress and pressure breaking these players. Gabby is too intelligent, too experienced to be getting involved there. Raya is too talented and too experienced to fumble that ball, to not scream, keeper. Where's the communication?
Yeah, we don't know.
Why are they contesting the same ball? I have seen David Raya take the ball in a cross, claim a ball over men just as big as Gabby under more pressure than that and handle it cleanly. Why doesn't he handle it cleanly? Why doesn't he give a shout? Why is our center back dropping into the 6-yard box when there's no Wolves player there? However you want to analyze it, there's only one analysis I can come away with. That is a moment where pressure got to the players, and in particular Raya, failed. Now, I've seen some people be frustrated with Calafiori. I just want to dismiss that. Like, Calafiori is standing on the line and the ball's hit firmly, and all right, he doesn't get it right. He's unlucky. I'm not going to put any of the blame on Calafiori. This is the keeper and maybe the center back blowing a very simple situation where he should catch it, fall to the ground, lay on his stomach for 30 seconds, boot it up the pitch, and the game is over. And it is a moment that invites any claims of bottling it or choking or falling under pressure that you want to say. And that's why I respect Mikel for admitting that, for admitting whatever the bullet, we have to take it. It is frustrating because I also think, had we won this 2-1, I still think there'd be a lot of critical analysis to do with this performance, a lot of reasons to be critical of this performance, but we'd have the 3 points. And with 11 games to go, the 3 points matter more. I think what we got is yet another wake-up call for a zombie run-in that is not responding to wake-up calls. And Clive, I guess what we have to say now is simply, it's 5 points with the game in hand. So let's just say City were to win the game in hand. It's 2 points.
Yeah.
It's 2 points, which means if they win at the Etihad against us, the title is in their hands for the run.
It's in their hands now. If they win all their games, they win the league. We win our.
That's a good point, right?
We win the league.
Well, it's in our hands and their hands, right?
Yeah.
If we get even a draw at the Etihad, it's in our hands. If they get a win at the Etihad, it's in their hands.
Yeah.
So, it does come down that way. But I will say this: I've never seen a Pep Guardiola team not win the title in a run-in when the title is there to be won. The only times I've seen them not win the title is when they're miles back for the run-in. So I am concerned, of course. What do you think? Where is this have you feeling it leaves us in terms of our ability to right the ship? And I want to be clear. I think people will say, Clive, well, City aren't that good. I agree. But City are the team that have 6 titles under Pep Guardiola and have done this, and we've seen them do this, and we're the team that hasn't won it in 22 years. So everything they say about us is true until it isn't. That's just it,
Yeah, we got a job to do, and we need to focus and do that, and not beat ourselves too much. We all have the fear. I barely eaten today. Probably some people are thinking you could do with missing a meal, Clive, but I barely eaten today, and I just think it's how we're all feeling. It's just a sick feeling that all the things people have said we are could come true, and the fans are thinking, well, it's not my fault. And people are lashing out. And with City, they've improved, right? So they had a young kid called Elaine Kuzanov playing centre-backs in early January, losing games. They lost Stones. They lost Diaz. They had problems in those areas. Rodri wasn't on the pitch. And now they've got Gay, got Stones, got Diaz. Eight Nori's come back from African nations. They're playing the young kid in midfield. They bought Semenyo, so they have an extra forward. Marmoush come back from African nations.
Rodri's playing,
and about to be suspended, but he's playing. And and Haaland had his dry patch. He's coming out of it, and suddenly, they got their players back. Guess what, Elliot? They're in a good moment, aren't they? They're in a good moment. They're in a good moment psychologically. No one's talking about them. They're in 4 competitions, and they're in a good moment where we are in the same competitions, in the same place. We're actually better off, and you think the world is ending. And that is a psychological pressure. That's the battle that we are losing. We are losing it, and that's what we got to overcome, and so yeah, let's see what happens. So they've improved, but it only takes, what I've learned from doing these podcasts for a long time now, and every time I come out with conclusive opinions, I realize that we are subject to change. And when you're playing every 3 days, things can change very, very quickly, and you would feel like a fool. So go with what you see, go with what you feel in your stomach. The conclusions about people, just hold them a little bit longer. Because some of those people we desperately need, and we need them to come back to form. And I don't think it will help if we smash them.
Yeah, and this is why you can't hand wave any drop points. This is why the draw against Forest was so bad. The loss at home to United was so bad. Because, if we're 9 points clear going into this Wolves game, we win the Wolves game 4-0. That to me is very clear. I think had we done our job against Forest, against United, we're 1-0 up against United. Forest aren't very good. Forget the Liverpool game. Fine. You do that. If we have 5 more points, which we very, very easily could have and should have had, then we go into this game with a chance to make it 12 points in the gap. But we'd go into this game 9 points clear. And 9 points clear, I don't think we drop points to Wolves. I think at that point, we're very confident we're going to do it. Well, now, here's how I think about it. There's 11 games left. Forget City. Forget the gap. Win 11 games. Win your games. There is no game coming up other than the game at the Etihad. No game that I don't think we can win. We can win all of the games if we're at our level. Now, this is the shitty part about what we've done with the gap, though, is it means we can't rotate when there's Champions League. We can't rotate when there's a bit like we're going to have to play the best guys we've got in all the games and hope they're good enough. As I sit here right now, I don't believe we're going to do it, but I don't believe for a second we're out of it. So we can't quit and we have to get behind the team. And that starts on Sunday. And so, Clive, there is no better game to have in a way than the Derby, because winning the Derby matters outside the context of a title season. You know what I mean? Beating Spurs always matters. It is an opportunity to have a game that is outside of the title race in a way. It is a game that matters in and of itself. They are terrible and they are missing tons of players.
Yeah.
This is a gut check. This is a real gut check because we beat the absolute snot out of them at our place. They're not very good. This new manager isn't going to suddenly make a bad team good. So how are you approaching this? Because it is a game that matters outside of the title race, but it really, really matters inside of it as well.
I'm sure we sat on this podcast and sort of said, this weekend is a must win. It's a must win.
Well, they all are now.
But let me tell you something. This weekend is a must win. I don't even want to think about walking out of that ground on the back of a defeat. I don't want to think about it.
Or a draw, candidly.
I don't want to think about it, mate. I don't want to think about it. It would just be, the internet would break. It would break. And this way you got to take care of your details, right? Because this is what you bring on yourself. But it's also an opportunity as well. That's why you got to look at it. It's an opportunity to refine our levels. I keep waiting for this team to find its turning point and to be shocked into action. But we're flat. We're flat. So 2 weeks ago, this game was a gimme, right? 2 weeks later after Brentford and Wolves, come on, we're a little bit edgy, aren't we? We're a little bit edgy. And we don't know what this manager's going to do. I think I've been reading things. He's going to probably potentially go to a back three. We tend to do well against back threes. We don't know how they're going to react to him. We don't know if they're on board with him. We don't know if they even like him. He's meant to be someone that gets his team to run and work hard. Well, they've got loads of time for fitness training. And they're going to come into a team that's played 3 extra games in the gap when they've been sitting there, sunning themselves. And so we have to go there and do it. I don't know where their fans are, but there is a lot, to be honest, we've got a bit of fear around our club. They have a fear around their club. West Ham and Forest are reeling them in. And they have a fear of relegation. And we have a fear of not winning the quadruple. But the fear of relegation, we might be playing the one team that has more fear than us. And so I do think it's important to, obviously, like every game, to impose ourselves, remind ourselves who we are and play to our top level. And I always say this is my thing. This is my thing. If ever I do a team talk to the players, this is what I'd say. Do not end up at that last home game of the season doing your lap of appreciation and no one sitting in the seats. So decide how you want to play. Decide your urgency. Because it's all here. We have it all. We have the bench. We have everything. You can say, well, you've got to pick the right team. You've got that. That's your want. You can do that. There's enough in this group. There's enough in that team last night to win any game in this league. And we've proven it. But we didn't do it. And a lot of that's on us.
I mean, the one nice thing about having a game in hand, even though it doesn't feel nice, especially not having won it, is that because we are 5 points clear, City playing on Saturday, they can't go top, right? And I know it sounds dumb, but psychologically, I think that feels better because if we hadn't played in midweek, they could go top, right, ahead of us before we played the Derby. At least whatever happens when they pound Newcastle into the ground, they go to 56, we're on 58. Now, we'll, again, game in hand, I get it. But on same games played, they'd still be 2 points behind us.
Yeah.
Any quick thoughts just on who Mikel should pick? I mean, he's got to be looking around at that dressing room a little bit and going, who's got the bottle for this? Who's got the backbone for this moment? I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of a feeling that he's searching for answers and not sure of who the answers are. I don't know that Leo will be available. We don't know what the injury situation will look like, but do you have a feel for lineup?
Yeah, I know what I'd like. Well, I think I know what we're going to do because I don't think Clive's going to be ready. And I hope we don't rush him back because I think he's critical. So we need him for the running and for the big games that are coming up in the Champions League. We need him. Don't bring him back now and lose him for a month because then we're talking basically in the last sort of 14 months he'd have played like 5 games. That's your best forward, right? That's not going to win you much, right? So I think maybe just based on fatigue of last night, I think maybe it's a time for Ben White to come in at right back. I don't see any problem with that. Timber's one of my favourite players, but you can't look at that rigor mortis legs he had on last night and say to yourself, you're in the best time of your Arsenal time, so you just need to sit down. There's a week off after this game before he gets to Chelsea. Chelsea wide players are the type of players I want Timber there for. So I'd give him a sit down in this game. There's no drama. We've got a squad, haven't we? So do that. Hincapie played really well in this game, and so I'd probably stay with that situation at the moment. I do think I don't know how to describe it. There's a looseness positionally with Hincapie sometimes. Sometimes I look up and I can't find him on the screen. I need to look at it closer before I can really articulate it in a better way. But I look up my screen, I think, where are you? You're inside. Why are you inside there? I sometimes want you to hold your spaces a little bit better. Balls didn't punish it, so I thought he had a good game. Obviously, he scored the goal. So I have to admit, I would still go with Zubimendi and Rice in the middle of the pitch. I would play Eze off the left. I would. I played Saka in behind.
I'm staggered that we haven't seen it yet. I have to be honest.
Well, I've seen it. We're against Forest, and I've seen some of the early games, and he was excellent at it. And I think with him and Hincapie, I think it just fits in better. A bit like the old days of Tierney and Smith Rowe, where Smith Rowe would just step inside one, and the fullback would be around him, but a running target, so he could always pass to him, but also drive inside on his right foot. That seems like a clear pair to me. Why not do it? And I just think it gives a lot of goal threat. I thought when Eze came on, he looked really sharp for about 3 minutes and then got swept up by the game. He looked really quick. I think we missed a moment to play him. We really
He had a
did.
late moment to win it for us too, but it's a hard ball. It's rolling across his body. He's trying to slash at it on his right foot while it's rolling across him.
I must admit, I need to look at that again, but I'm thinking, mate, come on.
Take a touch.
Just do whatever you got to do. Yeah, do whatever you got to do.
Because I think he can take a touch. I don't think he has to try to first time that.
It's
very hard.
It's a cool dude finish when it's side foot into the side net, and you just got to make sure you get something on it. I don't care if you throw your leg at it fully. Slide tackle it in, like the Gyokeres finish the other day. Slide tackle it in if you got to. Make sure it goes to the line hard. And Gyokeres had a poor game. He's been off. I'm going to say this quietly. He's been our form centre forward this calendar year with the numbers and goal involvement. But last night he went back to ground zero again. Back to how he was after Burnley. What's happening? Why are you falling over again? But as soon as he goes off, we tend to concede late goals. It's like...
and he never went off against Sporting. I do think there's an argument made that one of his superpowers is that he can run for the full 90. We don't keep him on full 90s. And I think he's a player who probably has more to offer in the last quarter of a game or last 15 minutes of a game than bringing Jesus on in some instances.
In hindsight,
not that he's been good.
I thought he had a poor game last night, but we seem to lose something when he's not there. I can't describe it because he didn't do anything last night, really, of any note. But we seem to have direction when he's on there.
Look, if you ask me where goals are coming from right now, I genuinely have no idea. But the one place that you'd expect or hope that goals would come from is Saka. And I have to say, Clive, he gave us a goal last night. Saka becoming a 75-minute player is a worry for me, but also there was a moment where he was in the clear sprinting away and he was caught up quite easily. And I just have to say, I don't think Saka looks all the way back to me. So we need a top Bukayo Saka for the run-in. And I still think physically he's coming back. I don't think he's all the way back.
I thought in this game, I've just been looking online and he's just officially signed his contract, right? So,
well, he did the contract celebration last night. Yeah, well, we knew this was coming, but it's great news.
It's going to be all over the socials as we're recording right now. So he's officially signed his contract. He's there, and it's about legacy now. That's what the notes are saying. It's about his legacy. Elliot, you get up a nice quote. But I think when you get a chance, Elliot, to rewatch this game again properly, have a look at his performance. It was excellent. And his numbers were excellent. He was excellent. I think this has got real potential. This position for him. I think he's ready for it. I think he's got the responsibility. I think he wants to travel across the pitch. He's just turning into a senior manager on the pitch. He's there for the interviews afterwards. He's our franchise player, our highest paid player, and he's ready for the responsibility. I wish I could say that about more of the players on this pitch. You know, prepared to stand up. Wasn't there for long enough for me, and I do have concerns about his longer-term fitness, but he knows he's got a game on Sunday as well. Hence why those early chances really mattered when we were sharp. But I think it's a big moment for him, for the club. But it's how you want to be remembered, lads. Simple as that. How you want to be remembered.
There is no excuse with the group we have to not be doing better than we're currently doing, and it has to start Sunday. I'll just read this out. Out for Tottenham on Sunday: Odegaard, Maddison, Bentancur, Kudus, Davies, Bergvall, Udogie, Kulishevsky, Danso, Romero, and Major Doubts, Richarlison, and Porro. I mean, the mission is clear. Go beat a really bad and beat up Tottenham team and restore a little bit of good feelings so that we can prime ourselves for what's going to be a really hectic and terrifying run-in. As I said, if you feel today like it's over, I get it. If you feel today like they're all jerks, they're all see you next Tuesdays, I can't do it anymore, I get it. We just can't quit. We can't quit because they're wobbling and they'll need us and we need them. So we have to stay together. And it's a big moment to stay together. On Sunday, we'll see some people in Dallas. I'm excited for that. Clive, I have to say, I don't enjoy these moments, but I enjoy the conversations when I appreciate having you and having this place to kind of explore what we're feeling in these moments. And like, all I can say to everybody, no matter what stage of grief you're in or how you handle it, let's try to be good to one another. We only have each other. So be there for one another to the extent you can be. So thanks, Clive.
Thank you very much. And likewise, it's a tough day, right? But we will recover. We always do.
Yeah. We're going to be with this club till the last breath. So let's hope that we'll be talking about the title we won this season for a long time. Friday Night Clive tomorrow. Instant reaction on Sunday following the live event in Dallas, and then a main pod on Monday. We love you. Thanks, everybody, for being here. And we will talk to you, dear God, after Arsenal 10, Spurs 0.